Hey there, how's it going? Okay, so what we've got is this bit here done, as you can see from the back. So we're going to continue moving around our model and just adding more parts to it. Now the next bit we're going to do is this bit here at the top. So, whether if you get interrupted by my small son, don't worry, he enjoys interrupting tutorials. I'm going to do a target weld from here over to here, like that. Okay, so you can see we've got this kind of nice big shape here, and I'm going to do it again from here to here, and here over to here. Reason being that I'm just trying to get these kind of unique build shapes, and this is a large piece here that's quite important to our build shape. What I mean by that is that we're going to have the kind of brackets that come out and hold the wing in position. I mean, the wing doesn't do much except direct this thing towards the ground, but that's not the point. Okay, now same as we did last time then. Cloning that to an element, and I go into this viewport here, I can make sure I'm getting it to the right height. You can see when it's too high actually because the bounding box will move, yeah? And I don't want the bounding box to move, so there we go. Now here, again we can use the bounding box for this bit, watch. Oh, didn't hold shift down there, must hold shift. There we go. So again, we've got these kind of plating pieces coming out now. And just start putting these together. So don't know why I chose select by border there. Just going to select here and here and bridge them. I think my microphone's actually not in the place, so I'm spinning around a little bit. Just trying to avoid getting the interference. There we are. I've got to remember I'm using my new workstation now, so I'm not used to everything being where it is. Okay, now down here. We can delete these two if we really want to do it two at a time. Now if we look behind here, do this one first, you'll see that we don't have in here, due to a mistake I've made, the chamfering that we should have, and this is important to us. So what we're going to have to do is just build our chamfering manually. So do a cutting, and all we're doing is just kind of bring these pieces together again. Don't worry if we're not getting it exactly right, we just need this border here. It's very important to us so that we've got this isolated polygon. Okay, now pull back out again and see what we've been doing. Okay, let's start putting this back together again. I don't know if you can hear in the background, but my little lad's having fun playing with a xylophone downstairs at the moment. Really? Bridge? He does love that xylophone. Bridge. Okay. And again, just looking in here, process 3, we don't want to get too close if we can help it. As you see, these are very close to each other. Delete that one off. Go there. Just turn it carefully. Use my zoom tool to get in so I can see where I'm linking them together. There's bridge. There we are. Now as you can see in there, we have a kind of curved area that will need to be bridged in as well. We'll come back to that in a moment. You notice obviously it gets slightly more complicated to bridge things together the more we do, so just take your time. What I'm going to do here is just a target weld. It'll help me separate this piece out anyway, so there we go. See, like that. Okay, pull back. And again, just selecting here and here, and just bridge. At the bottom here, just check this piece out. No, that looks fine. I can repair that one in just a moment. I just like to go around and slowly check all my bridging positions. There we go. Okay, that looks fine. And pull back. Okay, now we're getting towards this top piece. So go to select by polygon once autosave does its funky thing. And here. Again, just skirting around the model, I want to check that I'm doing it okay. And you notice now that whereas we started with a very simple shape with our model, what looked like a, just a box that had been moved slightly and some cuts put in it, we're actually developing this kind of, not ablative plate, it's kind of a reinforced plate look, which I like. Okay, now we've got some holes in here to fill. We can just cap those. Keep an eye on your cap just to make sure that it's not overflown. Okay. Now, if we go into our, in this case, front, even though it's technically back view, I'm going to start moving my verts around like this, just to get them lined up. Push this one out a little bit. Put it back in perspective and zoom out. I love doing this bit of the model, just kind of shaping stuff, where everything starts to come together more or less. Now then, what's this shape we've got here? Because it's not looking good. Let's do some target welds. There we are, that's much better. And as you can see in there, the line's working okay, there's no defects. Sometimes you're going to get these shapes though after you've done a chamfer if you're using this technique to build, so it's important to kind of go back and keep checking your model. Okay, there and there, just go to the front view. Shift down here. Again, scooting around the model, just checking it out. Down to this piece here. And just bring it in just in line with the other piece. Okay, that's good. And as you see now, we're developing at the front here this separate area which will become kind of our autopilot system for dumping these poor hapless dead guys into their combat zone. Woohoo! I'm expecting orders any minute now from the Pentagon. Okay, so I'm going to go around this carefully. We don't need to do all the edges, otherwise we're going to start buggering up a lot of our chamfers. So I'll show you what I mean by that. We're not doing the inside chamfers down there, is what I mean. Okay, we can chamfer here. Actually, no, we don't even need to chamfer there because it's not a part. That's on the symmetry. So it's going around our model again. Take there and here. These two. And the underside. We might start getting overlap problems with our chamfers, but that's okay, we can go back and repair those. Okay, so chamfer. Now if you remember, our chamfer last time was on my model, 0.5, and then about 0.16. Just adjust that a bit. There, 2.4. Pull back. Gives me a good chance to look over the model now. I'm pressing F4. Nice, I like that. Okay, and that's developed as this nice shape here. Okay, and that's working nicely for me. Now I'm going to pull out my references, which are buried under a hoard of post. Believe it or not, I don't tend to do a tutorial just in one day. It takes a lot of kind of foresight and thinking and planning and learning and stuff. Okay, look at my notes. Here we are. Right, so we've got an interesting sticky out part. That's the technical term for it. Just here. We haven't even got to using our placement tool yet, but we will. So we're going to start here on this bit. You'd be surprised how well it goes when you put a nice inset piece on like this. So an inset of 1. And I'm going to extrude this one. Not too much. There. Now, unlike the last time, when I did a kind of uniform chamfer, where it was the same chamfer on the top and bottom here and on the sides, I'm going to chamfer these ones slightly differently. And that's for a good reason, as I shall show you in just a moment. It takes a little bit longer to do, but it is worth it. Especially when you've got a larger part sticking out like this. Okay, let's go to our chamfer first, and we'll open it to 0.5 again. And then kind of go halfway in between like that, just to curve out our sides. And you notice now already we've got this much kind of smoother looking shape coming out. Obviously it's not chamfered at the top, which is why we're not getting any light here. Now, unfortunately for us, it worked this time. Most of the time Max won't let you loop properly like that, however it's let me this time, which can only mean that the 3ds Max fairies are doing their funky thing for us. Just click here, do another loop. Yeah, you see it's not letting me loop all the way around. I'm going to have to manually select some of these. So I'm just going to go around and make sure that the ones I want are manually selected. I'll just press the hotkey there, by the way, for just the select tool rather than move and select. That way I won't make my model go a bit Pete Tong, as they say. Now look up here. Ooh, dear, better fix this straight away. Simplest way of doing it is just selecting here and here and here and here and collapsing. It's lucky that I noticed this, because otherwise it might have been too late to save the model. Okay, chamfer it to about there. Now let's have a look at these, because I think looking at these we can probably tidy this one up a little bit more. Yeah, we can. There's no need for having these extra verts here. Let's just get rid of them. There we go. Just kind of leftover legacy from some bits we just did there. Okay, so that's sticking out quite nicely there. I don't know what it does, but I'm sure it's awesome. Now in here, at the bottom, we don't need landing lines because we're not planning on this landing anywhere remotely friendly. But let's do an inset. And extrude this in to about there. Now, here's an interesting way of selecting these. If I select this one, just do a ring and select all 4 of the inside ones there. Then I can chamfer. Make this visible while I do it. Okay, like that. Now, oops-a-daisy, wrong one. Select these and see if they'll loop. Well, one will loop, and one's nearly as good. So I'm just going to select instead by polygon. Select here, Control Select by edge. And if I Control Select by edge, it selects all the bordering edges. Now I can select this one and do a loop, and I've got them both selected. Bizarre. And I can chamfer. Not a lot, just a little bit. There we go. Now, why have I chosen to do that? Well, I can put things inside there if I want, and I'm just looking for kind of minor detail pieces that I can work on, really. And this has no kind of machinery showing. I mean, in a war zone, you're not going to have all the important pipework and stuff on the outside, even if you are sending your troops into almost certain death. So we'll build a cylinder using auto grid. one height segment, and I can just plop it straight in here and have it come out like that, and convert it straight off to an editable poly. Grow, Control I to delete the back facing pieces. Now, you've seen me do this before, so you should be fairly up on how to do this with. Just making fake welds. Loop, create shape, linear. Press H. Now, because I've reloaded Max, it's not kept my settings, because I do turn off occasionally. So I go back in here and enable the renderer and viewport. And off 4 sides. Reduce the thickness down to something manageable. And then convert to editable poly. Right. Now to have some brief enjoyment doing this. Hurrah. I'm sorry if my voice is a little croaky today, by the way. I probably need some more coffee. Yeah, my cup's empty. Oh, I've been having a few. Okay, that's working out nicely for me. I'm just going to attach this other piece to it then. Like that. Now, I'm going to want to make a couple of, well, not a couple, just one probably copy of this. So if I put this one here, and then holding down Shift while doing it, just a smaller version, which I can then drag down to about there. And because of the way the cylinders are made, you'll notice that it's pretty much set up just about right. It needs to be angled a little bit, I think, in order to make it just turn off angle snap, fit against there. Yep, looks like it. There we go. Just a little bit of minor alteration there. There we go. Now take its big friend here, and that one looks like it's set in okay anyway. Okay, so if we select this piece now and do our attaching, there we go. Oops, move that to there. Now we can zoom out and have a good look at it. I mean, this is just minor detail we're adding in, but it's all ways of making your model look better. So I'll just do a quick ambient occlusion render here, which gives me a chance to stretch my arms. I mean, you're not seeing it in its best light here. Ambient occlusion just points out the base details for us. However, it is working. Okay, that's fine. Now let's put another small detailed piece just on here, simply because there's not a lot happening on this. We may as well, and what we can do is just go for a weird pipe box that doesn't do anything, because they really do. Fortunately, because we've got these nice big polygons as well, we have the ability to create nice easy pieces. So if I do an inset here, like so, and then I can just start slicing it up. Select here and here, and do perhaps a couple of connects. 2 segments. There we go. Click cancel because I don't want too many. Okay, now look at the shape I want, and I want a kind of box coming out of here. How big do I want it? Let's have a look at the overall size of this. Yeah, that'll probably be about the right size for me. Piece of detail that's going to be more or less invisible. So I bevel it. Now I'm going to do a lot of the beveling detail after I build this piece anyway, so what I'm doing is, I should probably go back and do this again actually, just to show you. I'm using my extrude in a way that you would normally use I'm using my bevel rather in a way that you'd normally use extrude and inset. I use it so that I can kind of, drag pieces around and so on. So for example, I can go up like that and then click, and that's an extrude, or I can click and then inset, so 0 height and then pull in, and that does me an inset, or I can use my bevel to actually make bevels. And the reason I do this is I don't have to then mess around or use hotkeys or whatever. I can just use the one function, which gives me a lot more control. Anyway, let's go straight out with a bevel then. And then I'm going to inset it. So I give it kind of a 0 height, and then I move it in like this. Then up. Then again. And this is all kind of by eye work. I mean, you can do it using the settings box if you really want, but that's entirely up to you. There we go. Now, let's click out of that second so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to select here and here, and do a couple more connects so I get this shape here. And then I grab my polygon. I can do an extrude or bevel. I'll just use the bevel tool again, like that. Okay, and this is just giving us more details that we can use. Okay, now, firstly, and quite important, I'm going to go around this and start doing my chamfers. So I'm going to click Grow, Control, Select by Edge. Now, let's go and select all the edges that need chamfering on this, and there's quite a few. This will give you a good chance to kind of look at what is important to be chamfered. I really can't stress this enough, you know. And be careful, I'll just use the Select tool. It's just to use the same, and that way you won't accidentally select anything you shouldn't be selecting. Don't forget to select the inside edges. Anything where light is going to hit it, you can't have a 0 depth corner, and that's what chamfering is going to stop. Little 0 depth corners. There we go. Getting nice and close. You can turn on a chamfer preview if you want, however I haven't. And I'm using Control Z if I click something and nothing happens, just to make sure that I haven't clicked the wrong part. Oops, see? There. There. Come back and click there. Okay, we should have all the insides now about done. I'm just checking it going around. Down here. Okay, let's try and just do a chamfer preview. Okay, that seems to be working fine. There's a piece here, here, and here that needs to be done. And here. Okay. Again, just nipping around the model. Press Z. Z will zoom to the extent of all selected lines, which means you'll know if you've selected the wrong ones. Okay, that looks fine. And click OK. You can tell it looks fine because if you just turn off wireframe mode, you've then got a box sticking out the side of it like that. Okay, that's fine. Now, remember how we built some pipe work at the back here? We're going to have to build some more pipe work just here. Look at my notes again. Now, what I'm going to do is build a couple of brackets just here. Because you don't just have pipe work kind of just thundering in the side of your vehicle, that doesn't really work. So, connect. And use the slide tool. Fantastic. I love the slide tool. Now select here and here, and again use another connect. 0 slide this time. And one segment. Now I'm going to chamfer this line. Like that. And then just extrude them a little bit. This is the kind of modelling I really enjoy using. Inset. Move these in. And hinge from edge. Like that, and I'm going to go to my front viewport. Reason being that I need to extend this up. So, keep an eye on that line there. I'm just going to extend that to there. Drop the perspective and zoom. Okay, and that gives me those two shapes there and there, which I can then have some nice little supports going into the top for. Then I can have a pipe running down here, and a couple of pipes running off there. And this kind of holds it in place and makes it look like an external part and welded onto the outside. And you're generally getting the idea, I hope. Okay, let's just click grow. Select there and there, and click grow again. Control select by edge. Now, this time I'm going to go around and select the edges we don't want to chamfer. Because it's quicker than going and selecting the ones we do want to chamfer. Hope you understand what I mean. If you don't, watch the way I was doing it and then watch this way. If you look now, 8 clicks and I've got all the chamfers I need. There we go. I'm going to give it a slight over chamfer on this one. There, like so. Okay, next. Just build a couple of rivet points. These aren't really pipes, these are just really kind of supports, yeah? And because I want them to lie flat against this, I'm going to do them a specific way. So, cylinder. Just here. Press F4 to make sure I'm getting the right amount of edges. Convert to oval poly. Oh, before I do, let's check that radius. Press Ctrl C to copy it. Okay, press F3. Select here. Select here and chamfer. Control select by edge and then chamfer rather. There we go. Just need to kind of get this chamfer right. There we go. Okay, that's fine. I'm looking this over. Not too fond on that second chamfer. Possibly the first one was a bit too much as well. Let's reduce that a bit. There we go. That's better. Now then, I was just going to copy the radius and build another one, but you can't just think the angle's just about right, so I should be able to just do this. Yeah, let's just deselect first, and then check it to local. Yeah, I got that pretty much spot on. I'm quite pleased about that. Now let's move these along to here. There we go. Okay, starting to go somewhere. Now, let's attach these little pieces back on. Very additive way of modelling, but I enjoy it a lot. Bridge. Bridge. Pull back. 4 off, and now you can see this is kind of held in place there and there. Now then, over here, just trying to find the good place for it. I'm going to the cylinder with auto grid on, and try and get this lined up in the middle if I can. Again, I'm just, eyeballing it. A method I infinitely prefer. Okay. Just going to zoom in on that and just bring it down a little bit here. Okay, that's fine. Sorry if it seems I'm scooting around this a lot, it's just I prefer to be able to have a lot more control over this at this point. Okay, Control Convert to Editable Poly. I'm going to do a bevel first. And all I'm doing here is giving it an impression that it's pipe work. So there, then hinge from edge. And if you look, we've got a nice straight bottom piece here, so we can do it. So hinge from edge, pick my hinge, nice 90-degree angle, and we'll give it, let's try 9. Yep, 9 seems to work okay. Now remember the original bevel and extrude that we had just a moment ago, so I'll do another extrude and bring that in. And then a little bevel in the height back and the outline amount in. Right, and now we can extrude it. And we're just extruding it until it goes through there. A little bit back. There we go. Just delete that end off. And this end off. There we go. And then select here and here. And create a shape from these that's linear. Right. Now I can select these linear shapes, convert them, zoom in on them. The thing I like about this method of creating by element is it's very easy to disassemble and then pass it on to Build-N-Wrap or unwrap it yourself or whatever. Whereas if you create just one big, hulky, messy mesh, then you have a bugger of a time editing it, and you also have a real swine of a time if you want to unwrap it. If you look there at the top, I'm going to have to do a little bit of an edit just to move this into the right position, but that won't take me very long. I've got a slight weld overlap going on, or I could just thin the pipe out or whatever, I'll see. There we go, just do it that way. Thinner weld works fine for me. Control I, delete the back facing. Now get it nice and close and select this piece and attach that bit to it. Go around the other way and attach that bit. There we go, and pull back. So you can see now how this is kind of coming in. I love putting these kind of weird details on. Now that I've got some pipes here, I'm going to want to get a nice degree of control over, if I can, and make them sink in over here. So I'll just start with a simple cylinder. Not too big, that's so high. Okay, and do some small bevels here. I think we'll have to use the actual manual slider control, otherwise we'll have not enough control for this one. A little bit of an extrude, certainly not 10. There we go. Now then, look at the shape. We've got a nice angle here for doing a hinge from edge. Look back at that, check it's going in the right direction. A little bit more of an angle. Pull back. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. Now, what I do is hinge from edge again. As you see, I've still got my angle here, but I can put an extra segment in now. Good way of eyeballing it. Okay, now straight extrude. And bevel it back in again. So I just turn the outline amount to a negative, pop a minus in front of it. Now I can extrude up here, just a little bit. not too much. Okay, going to go to my front viewport because it's not going the direction that I quite want it to. I'm just going to angle it a little bit more like that. And bring it a little bit closer down like so. Change that angle again. There. A little bit more down. Just generally tweaking the angles. You don't have to add these details yourself. I'm just showing you the way that, you know, I can add external detail to this. I'm pointing out some of the logistics of creating kind of a science fiction piece like this. Okay, now I was going to have this sink straight into the top. However, I think what would really work here quite nicely is just a bit more of the same, if you know what I mean. So, go over here, do an insert, and extrude, and then again another one here and here, quick connect, means I can then extrude this piece out. The whole idea of these is these are kind of supposed to be armoured pieces that are covering the make sure that's in local. There we go. Now if this is in local, you see I can move this up and down like this, which I can't do if it's in view. Okay? So if you ever wondered why you can't do that, you need to set it in your world space coordinates to local. So watch, set this back to view. It's like, you know, you can't get it straight very easily. Yeah, what I'm trying to kind of signify here is a lot of the mechanics are hidden by, you know, cunning use of these plating boxes. So bits that are added on the side, perhaps navigation or fuel control or whatever. Okay, let's just select there and go around it again. Just want to make it look like it's very heavily armoured. A bit less on there. Only applying it once, which is why I clicked apply and then cancel. I just want to make sure it worked. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to have two of these pipes coming out. So I'm going to go back to my original pipe I created here. Press F3 just so I can top and tail it. What I mean by that is just take off the polygons on the top and bottom. There we go. Now it's a little bit rough at the moment. Don't be tempted just to go, ooh, NURBS, because you're going to lose a lot of the detail. We're just going to use a smooth modifier on these later on, okay? Which is not the same as subdivision. Okay, and create shape. Nice linear one. Make sure it's not overlapping in ways it shouldn't be. Oops, just pressed the lock button by mistake there. Useful, but not much use when I'm doing what I'm doing. I think I've got too many edges in here. Let's just go and look at this. Where's my shape? There it is. 4 sides. Interesting. Now one of the bottom works and one of the top doesn't, which can only mean I should probably change the way I've created these a bit. I'll do them one at a time. The top one's still a bit jinxed. That's okay, I can fix that then. Anyway, let's get back to sorting these out one at a time. So first, go down here, convert to editable point, and zoom in. And this is quite a long piece compared to the others. I should have really broken up into 2, but never mind. A bit too late now. General rule of thumb is if it's all going well, don't bother stopping and doing it again. Okay, that one's done. Now this one. Just leave that. And bring it in like so. There we go, so repaired. I just felt a horrible urge to say some Harry Potter quote there. I'm going to bleach my mouth at the moment. That bit where they should keep shouting about repairing and stuff when Harry Potter breaks his glasses every single bloody time. You know, if I was Harry Potter, I'd have quit in year 3 and gone on a killing rampage. But no, he fags about at that college thing. There we go. God, I've made a fortune by now. Could have done some awesome special effects with RLM. Okay, let's just attach here. And here. Okay, now just drag this across to there. Click OK, and we can attach these 2 pieces now, there and there. Turn it off, press F4 and zoom out again. And as you see now, we've got this rather nice detail piece on the outside. Okay, so let's check out my ambient occlusion render here, just to make sure it's picking it up okay and there's no dead polygons. It'll let us know immediately if there are. No, can't see any. Excellent. And again, it's funny really, one of the first tutorials I made for 3D Palace, and some of the veterans may briefly remember it, was a drop pod thing, which I think I had the idea from like Starship Troopers or something like that. And it was quite basic, let's just say. So it's nice to do something that kind of makes up for that one. Okay, there we go. Excellent. Okay then, so I'll see you in the next bit.